So today we're talking about Quilboars. Really, the three main questions we're going to be thinking about is when should you go Quilboars, what are the combos, and then how do you secure wins and win the game with a Quilboar. So first thing you should be asking starts off in champion select of what heroes work with Quilboars. A couple of them that stand up or stand out. AFK lets you find Piper and McCall. Phelan you can use to guarantee like a Rylac. Just kind of think about it though. Phelan's probably like a top four kind of secure. You probably go to four and then just stay there. Rafam is pretty good with Beast and Quilboars in because you can more likely get some good steals in the mid game. Blackthorn, obviously, just he's the Quilboar hero. He gets built-in gem generation. Bran, which is what I'm going to be playing in the video that's playing in the background, just because it really enables the Jazzer and Rylac really easily. You get the health buffing very easy. George is really good because it turns every hero or every minion essentially into a gem consumer. And we're going to talk about what I mean by a gem consumer later. Um, Shutterwalk, and then to a lesser extent, Jandis just makes it so you can trigger your Jazzer more often. Um, N'Zoth works just because it helps proc Piper a couple extra times. Silas is good because he enables you to discover or to find three drops, which help you find goldens, and you can get a couple extra discovers to four. Tess is a good hero because you can stay down on four, and if you miss your drops, you're not as punished because you can steal good minions from others. And then finally, Thorum, just because, having Jazzer and Piper combined into a single card is pretty broken. So, after heroes, we're going to talk about like what you should be looking at during the game. The way I think about Quilboars is there are really three types of cards that make up the Quilboars as a tribe. There's gem buffers, gem generators, and gem consumers. For an example of that, gem buffers, those are going to be Piper and Jazzer. One gives attack on the Death Rattle, Jazzer gives health as a battle cry. And those are really it for gem buffers. I mean, unless you're Thorm. For gem narrators, what we're talking about are cards that help you create more gems. So one of the ones that's kind of known for this right now is Smudger's been pretty common. Um, and I guess like the Death Rattles that give a gem or bookie or those are your gem generators. And then finally we have gem consumers. These are going to be generic cards that get extra value base are like good value trade cards, and having buffs on them are going to be better. So an example of this would be something like Tough Tusk, where it doesn't actually do anything, but if you give it good stats, it gets a Divine Shield. It wants to be the card that's taking your gems. And the reason why Quilboars have become so strong is Rugug, the 4-drop, um, became a gem, was before a gem generator, and now because it has Divine Shield, it also wants to be that consumer because Divine Shields are able to trade 2 for 1. It's serving two purposes for the Quilboars of being a good minion to consume gems and also a good minion to generate gems. So, with that in mind, we're going to talk about when should you be going Quillboars? Well, there's kind of one of two conditions need to happen. Either you need an early Piper, or you need some type of like essentially infinite scaling Jazzer. So for Piper, reasonably, you want your gems to get something like 6 to 8 ish attack. Really, there's diminishing returns on the attack, so you don't need to get much more than that. But if you don't get your Piper by turn 7 ish, you're really like not giving yourself enough time to get the gems to a decent attack value where unless you've already gotten the infinite scaling health, which is, it puts you too far behind. So attack has a high diminishing return. Health is not quite as diminishing of a return. Um, Really, health only dies to getting scammed. And there's also more cards that kind of trigger with the health scaling. So because Jazzer's a battle cry, you can do stuff like Rylac and Bran. You can give your Rylac Reborn, and with that, you can reasonably be getting 12 health a turn out of your like 3 cards there, which is just huge scaling for the gems. Where at most with the Piper, you're probably maybe going to get a McCall off, and because Bran's a hero, there's a way to get Bran easily. Baron with Piper on the board, like you end up getting Baron too late. It's normally something like turn 8 or 9 before you're enabled with that. So that's personally why I prefer the Rylak way and just getting an early Piper. In the game that you'll be watching in the background, like I don't get Piper until that late. But getting a couple attack is good. You don't necessarily need to be getting like the 40 gems. If you're doing the Thorum, like yes, you're gonna get a ton more attack that way. But really, you don't need Piper for the super late game. So we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but next thing is what are the main combos you should be looking to do with Quillboars? So the first one we talked about was the Reborn Rylak, Jazzer, and Bran. And you can also get a Geomancer, which is what I use in this game, which is the battle cry that gives a gem. And with that, you're getting 12 health a turn and 8 gems, assuming both the Jazzer and the Geomancer are golden. You can reasonably get this 12 health, 8 gems every turn, and that's just a lot of stats that you're generating for yourself. And with this, one thing that you should keep in mind though is because of Cleave, you want to get a couple buffs on those two battle cries, the Jazzer and the Geomancer. Without the buffs on those, if a Cleave happens and the Death Rattle dies at the same time as the battle cry, you're not going to get the trigger off. In the same way, you don't want buffs going on the Rylak itself because you want to make sure it dies before the battle cries do. So next is the new one that's kind of become a thing because Paint Smudger was brought back and Landlubber, and this really banks a lot off of Geomancer, Rugug. Rugug does work with the other ones. If you're discovering 8 blood gems every turn, it's now 16 with Rugug. But Rugug is more popular with this whole Landlubber Paint Smudger strap. And what this is you stay on 3, you triple into the Geomagus, and if you miss the Geomagus on your Discover to 4, you can still find it with like Elise, or if you have Peggy, you're going to be playing Landlubbers, so there are a couple other like good hits there. You're not forced into it. At that point, you're probably playing for a top 4, but if you hit the Rugug, what you can do is stay down on 3 where the spells are cheaper and use the Paint Smudger to generate gems. This couple things that are important to realize with this is going to 4 really hurts your spell pool, so you really want to be doing this on 3. And then the second thing is just kind of some math around why you want to limit how many Quilboars you're playing with this comp. So just for some quick math, if you have 1 Smudger and 1 Rugug, every spell is worth 2 gems, right? Because the Smudger buffs the Rugug. If you have 2 Smudgers and 1 Rugug, you get 2 gems plus a 50% chance at proccing the 2 gems on the Rugug. So on average, you're getting 3 gems. If you continue this with 3 Smudgers and a Rugug, you get 4 gems with 4 Smudgers, so 1 golden, 1 regular, and a Rugug. At that point, you only get 4.5 gems for a spell. So what this kind of is just the whole diminishing return on Smudgers. Just play 1 golden Smudger and get out of those. It's not really worth going for more. Now, the thought process here is with Piper. So Piper, you're buffing your attack on it. So let's say you have 1 Smudger, 1 Piper, and 1 Rugug. Then for every spell you play, you have the 1 spell from the Smudger, and then you have a 50% chance of hitting the Rugug with that buff. So you have 1.5 gems on average. Similarly, if you have 2 Smudgers, 1 Piper, and 1 Rugug, you have a 2.6 gems, so that's 87% as effective. With 3 Smudgers, 1 Piper, 1 Rugug, that's going to be 3 gems on average. And essentially what I'm getting at that is once you get roughly that 5-6 attack on your Piper, you want to get out of the Piper because you want to make sure Rugug is getting the majority of the buffs that are going your way. So really, the math I use is like Piper needs to be doing that 25% work that you're missing from the effectiveness of your gems. So now, final thing, and don't want to go into this too much, but essentially what you do at Quilboars is after you get the big gems, you want to essentially transition it into late game units. So this can be things like doing Cleave with Warp or Warp Wing and use Charles. You can also just use other, generic scam stuff like Mergul. You can, use Glow Scale Surf and Surfs to just proc the Divine Shields or Venoms. You can use Anchor, you can use Base Skill Belchers, you can use Thrasher, you can use Centaur. You can do just like the Bristleback with a gift horse and top tusk, or you can just use the generic Quillboar gem consumers like Bristleback Knight. Regardless, is you get big cards in the late game, and then from there, you try to 2-for-1 with as many of them, and all of your cards are going to be buffing a lot quicker because of the blood gems that you sealed. So hope this helps. Hope this kind of explains why Quillboars are in the spot they're in, and kind of how you can make predictions on when like future patch notes are done by the team, and how you can understand when you should be going them and other comps. How to read a patch notes for what a tribe wants to do. All right, thanks guys.
Just